Welcome to today's more important analysis videos on Tuesday 26th of September with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. We've got a market moving in towards safe havens today, and that's been driven by this sort of escalation once more of the geopolitical tensions between US and North Korea. Donald Trump suggesting that the leadership of North Korea wouldn't be lasting that much longer, or wouldn't be around that much longer. That was taken to be a bit of somewhat of a threat, and the North Koreans have said that is a declaration of war, and they're going to be they believe it's now their right to shoot down US planes. So this is not great. I mean, it is escalating ever further, and what we're seeing is moves into safe haven plays on the back of that. Now, what we've seen is gold sharply higher. 1300 had previously been the resistance that got broken yesterday. We've seen the dollar yen, which has fallen back lower as well. Some key moves in these markets, and also, we're seeing equities today lower, not a huge amount. The S&P 500 was only 0.2% lower yesterday, and the Dow as well, 0.2%. But generally speaking, equities under pressure, and the VIX volatility has pulled higher on the back of this news. And just generally speaking, the dollar is sort of taken on more of its safe haven status again. That comes despite the fact that Treasury yields have fallen. Treasury yields fell quite sharply yesterday, but to be honest, the dollar is still taking on more of a safe haven play, and that's come as the euro has dropped quite strongly. I'll show you through the euro analysis. Nothing yet decisive. I mean, on the sort of medium-term basis, it's just still within this downtrend channel on the dollar. Key level around this sort of 93 area on dollar index. That's not a million. We're not a million miles away from a test of that now. So that also coincides with the top of the trend channel. So watch out for that. But certainly at the moment we're seeing the dollar strengthening. Now, let me show you the Euro USD versus the spreads of bunds and treasuries. We can see that the bund yield is pulling the market lower on euro dollar. The bund yield fell on the back of the German election, and that is sort of driving this market lower on euro dollar. So that is still a market to watch. But the dollar strength is still key today. Now, what have we got to look forward to today? Well, we've got a bit of US data this afternoon. We've got S&P Case-Shiller house price index at 2 o'clock, consumer confidence 3 o'clock, new home sales, and then Richmond Fed. Not a huge tier 1 data, but the consumer confidence will certainly be watched this afternoon. Let me just scroll down here. Case-Shiller mildly higher at 5.8%, consumer confidence mildly lower at 120. 120 is still strong on that consumer confidence level, very strong levels there. New home sales improved to 591,000, up by 3.5% pretty much on the month. And Richmond Fed is meant to be 13, so slightly lower than last month. But this US data not likely to move markets considerably unless the consumer confidence is dramatically different, I believe, today. But my chart of the day is the DAX. Now, DAX has been sort of moving around recently, but you've had a couple of key factors that the DAX have been driven by. The election over the weekend, but also this safe haven move today. Now the DAX is holding on to this uptrend move, this minor uptrend that's sort of like a rising wedge pattern. Remains strong on the momentum indicators, so nothing yet really suggesting that the DAX is going to break down. And I think that's a suggestion that the bulls are still strong in this market. You're still seeing this continuation of the higher lows. Yes, you sort of had a couple of sessions where you sort of closed below the midpoint of the day. However, it was an opening gap lower, and the market closed above that opening price on both occasions. And today, once again, we opened lower, and we're sort of pulling higher again. So I think this sort of move that we're seeing in these in the DAX is still pretty positive, still suggesting that the buyers still want to come back in. We're sort of 15 ticks higher on the day at the moment, and you're still holding on to the support around sort of the initial low 12,518, and that's above the 12,490 key reaction low, which again is an old pivot on the DAX. 12,490. So we're holding on to these support levels, and it's looking still pretty good. As I said, strong momentum across the board there on the daily chart. The hourly chart still needs to hold up above this sort of 50 level on the hourly RSI. It's done that by the reaction in the last couple of hours. The MACD lines are still positive on the hourly as well. So yeah, it's still looking okay. It's still suggesting that corrections are a chance to buy, and the outlook remains pretty positive. So you'd be looking at the resistance levels, 12,633 initially as yesterday's high. Sorry, get rid of that. 12,645 and then 12,676 being that reaction high from July. So it's still looking positive on the DAX. And I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.